Are you in a relationship or are you in a constant battle with your partner? AKA, relationships means you and the individual that you are relating to or relating with. Y'all need to be relating together. It shouldn't be a circumstance situation where y'all both are in a positioning for power or control over one another. AKA, you don't control or power nobody but yourself. And of course, a lot of spirits, a lot of people, a lot of places, a lot of things get caught up into these routines. And of course, they get too stagnated into one position. And these things start to accumulate all over the place. Put them in scenarios. Put them in down states. Put them in low frequencies, low vibrations, low energies. And of course, it's highly important to make sure that whoever you're in a relationship with, you need to be putting yourself in circumstances and situations of teamwork made the dream work. AKA, this day will be 50, this day will be 50. And of course, y'all shouldn't be in a relationship where y'all both struggling. That's key. That's key. That's a fucking key. Because if y'all ain't got the right keys, then y'all ain't going to be able to actually go into the right doors. One person going to be able to have the key. One person ain't going to be able to have the key. That shit ain't going to work out. It's not going to work out at all. No, there's no way of how you look at it. It will not work out at all. Like, what is the whole purpose? Some relationships be in competition battles too. What is the competition about? You should only be in competition with yourself, or basically be in competition to basically better yourself. Insecurities is someone that's basically in a constant battle of trying to control or stop where you trying to elevate yourself and on a day-to-day basis. Because if you keep putting yourself in that frame, then these are the baggages and these are the circumstances and situations that you're going to keep developing in your life on a day-to-day basis. You shouldn't be putting yourself in that low vibrational ass stance. You need to understand and understand the power is within. The moment you keep looking outside of you to try to look for power or try to do things in a perspective of someone else's way of doing it, you're going to keep going through failures. And of course, you are going to just be a person that fails on a day-to-day basis. It's so important to basically have balance when you're in a relationship. Because if y'all don't have balance, y'all going to be unbalanced. And of course, if you don't have balance, then the train station that y'all are on, that train, that travel, that spaceship, that ship is going to sunk. That train is going to go off the rails. And of course, it's going to not stop. It's going to keep going until it hit a clash. And of course, all relationships going to clash. All relationships going to fight. All relationships going to have disagreements. Because of course, we don't agree on certain things. And that's just how things go. That goes to show that it's not about how you do things. It's about how you're doing it with the person. It's not about what you do. It's the way you do it with that person. Everybody can have a way of doing things. But of course, the way of you doing things can be harmonious or harmful. Because the way you express yourself can hurt others. The way you do things can hurt others. And the way some people do things are harmonious. So if these things don't have the H in it, these things don't have a hold on it, then these things are going to be catastrophic all over the place. And you don't want things to be all over the place, because when things get all over the place, a lot of shit get exposed. A lot of shit that was going on underneath the surface start to get exposed and get erupt. And of course, you don't want things to get exposed. And also, you should also take that into consideration where you are being a narcissistic person that's basically trying to gain all the control in the relationship. This is highly important to make sure that you're not in a position or a circumstance situation of dwelling on these things. Because the more you do these things, the more these things start to become something that you'll be able to see. And what you're doing in the dark will always be exposed in the light. So it don't matter how you play it. It's going to always come back to haunt you and bite you. So you can't have too much bad, because you're going to come across as a snake, as a person that's in a circumstance situation of just doing things in a darkly manner. You got to have equilibrium. You got to know that it's a time to act in certain natures, and there's a time to react in certain natures. It's a time to basically just be. And if you ain't just being you or just being yourself, then of course these things are going to come up. These things are going to basically show themselves to you. And of course, your spirit ain't going to lie to you. Your spirit is never fucking lie. But the body you in, going to fucking die. And the energy can never be destroyed. It can only be reciprocated. So whatever you're doing now is what you was doing previously. So you brought this shit into this world. So of course, what's going on a day-to-day basis It's how these things are being fundamentally restrained. And of course, there's certain things that you should basically put a restraint on and not strain or stress over certain things. Because of course, if it's supposed to meant to be for you, then of course it would be for you. If it's not meant for you, it's no need for you to basically be tampering with these things. Learn how to allow these things to basically just float. Just throw it in the ocean, throw it in the river, get rid of it. It don't need to be attached towards you. Because of course, when you attach too many things and got too much shit going on, you start to sink, you start to go down. Of course, that's a whole lot of shit going on if you're in a relationship. If you ain't got scales, if you ain't got ways to basically see how much weight or how much balance is basically being pertained, then you're going to go lose yourself. And you don't want to lose yourself. When you lose yourself, you're gonna be out there. And you're not going to be able to actually fulfill or control yourself if you lose yourself, because you're going to be losing yourself into many desires, too many other shit. And of course, these desires can take you over. These desires are spirits too. Understand that shit. Because of course, you are what you participate in. You are what you feed your mind. You are what you think, period. And of course, the more that something is added to something, the more it's going to be put into your world. So look at it like this. All the shit that you adding towards too, all the negative bullshit, take that into consideration, that you're adding these things into your life on a day-to-day basis. So whatever you're doing on a day-to-day basis is going to be reciprocated right back at you. The energy you putting out is going to come right back into you. 10 times harder, 10 times worse. Now, you should know better. Because if you don't know better, you should know better by now. Because if you knew better, you'll do better. Of course, if you ain't doing better, then this is going to be seen as you're just someone that's stuck into one routine pattern. Of course, the universe has to move and expand. So when things stop working into your perspective, you're going to go to the full extreme lengths to the point that you might have to kill your ass, or you might get yourself killed because you're doing too much. AKA, you're doing a whole lot of shit that shouldn't be done in that manner. You got to learn how to do things, or just learn how to allow things to basically breeze. If you keep putting too much pressure and putting too much weighs on it, you're going to weigh yourself down. And of course, you're going to be able to actually allow these things to flow in your rivers freely. You're going to have too much whales, too much sharks swimming around your waters. Of course, you're going to be able to actually go above the surface at time unless your ass get killed and dropped. And of course, what's held in will be picked right up, right out. So yeah, be careful who you allow yourself in a relationship with. Be careful who you are relating yourself with. Everybody that you relationshiping yourself with ain't truly who they supposed to be. This can be someone that's basically jealous of you. This could be someone that's in competition with you. And you won't know these things because you're too constantly worrying about other things. But if you sit down, take a chill pill, sit back, relax, you're going to be able to receive the energy. You're going to be able to receive the maps, the guides, or the stress that's going to be accumulating out of you. You're going to be able to actually receive what's going on with your partner. You're going to be able to actually receive what's going on behind the scenes. And things is going to start to be clear. So it can be clear to void in your voyance. And of course, it's very important to make sure that your mental health is priority. That's key. If you're in a relationship and you fucked up, and you know you fucked up, you shouldn't be in no motherfucking relationship. Unless y'all got kids and y'all gotta have to work on the spiritual engrowthment. But if you're in a relationship and you're very, 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 very down there, and you're not on the circumstance situation of finding fairness on the battle scale, you're going to be all over the motherfucking place. Find equilibrium, find balance within yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, then nobody else is going to love you. And of course, the way you treat yourself is the way you're going to be treated by others. So if you're treating yourself like shit, then you're going to keep manifesting circumstances and situations of shit, just basically shitting upon your life. You don't want that shit on your life. You don't want that shit on your spirit. You don't want that shit on your soul. You don't want shit on you, period. Only thing you want on you is opportunities, gifts, learning processes. And of course, you got to battle through the circumstances, situations, the people, places, and things that may hate on your shit. So it's all about having a self-defense. It's all about having restrictions. But try not to put no boundaries on yourself, because you shouldn't be obligated or bound to do anything that you don't want to motherfucking do. So if you're not bound or obligated to be in a relationship with this person, then don't allow that. And if this person is basically putting limitations and restrictions on your motherfucking heart to basically make it seem like you got to do these things, then you're in the wrong relationship. You in a motherfucking toxic, abusive ass motherfucking relationship. You need to get your ass up out of that relationship, because that person going to do whatever they want to do. And you can't stop them or control them. They either wasn't loved, they either didn't get shit how they wanted to get it played out, of course. They just, that spirit in that body is certain planetary alignments, maybe fucking with this person. Mental state or membranes. So yeah, separate yourself from people, places, and things that's not in your best interest. Or separate yourself from people, places, and things that you can't relate to on a proper day-to-day basis. These motherfuckers is basically gonna drown you and sink you like a toilet bowl. You don't want that shit.